fruity sweet compared to the black
Yeah.
label.
Also, it's a blend of 40 different whiskies from Diageo's portfolio. And I was not a bad bowler, but I was
You were a bad bowler, basically.
I was not a very... So the thing between him and me was like, if you get me out, I will buy you a bottle of Black Label. Hey everyone, Swati and Vinayak from the Dram Club. And welcome back to our channel where we make whiskey fun, approachable and easy to understand.
And today we're talking about two of the most popular Scotch whiskies, the Johnnie Walker Black Label and the Johnnie Walker Double Black.
And we are going to keep it very simple, no heavy whiskey jargon, just a fun chat where we compare these two legends, how they taste, their history, food pairings and our preferred one.
But before we get started, please do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel.
So first up, we will taste and review the Black Label, the OG Johnnie Walker expression, which was first sold as the Old Highland Whiskey in 1865.
A little less than 200 years.
It's little less than 200 years, yeah. But I think also it went through a couple of name changes.
Okay.
Also the name was changed to Extra Special Old Highland Whiskey in 1906.
Okay.
And then the Black Label was coined in 1909.
Oh.
And it's been Black Label ever since.
Ever since then.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
also it's a blend of 40 different whiskies from Diageo's portfolio.
Wow.
So 40 different whiskies go in your Black Label. Keep that in mind. Quite honey, citrus, fruit forward.
Yeah, it's got fruity sweetness, honey, caramel.
Yeah.
I also get a little bit of toffee, but I also get a hint of smoke in this. And
I don't know, I'm struggling to detect that smoke.
okay, there's a little bit of spiciness also.
What's your first memory of Black Label, Swati?
Very distinct memory of Black Label is the lockdown.
Okay.
So I was staying with my cousin at that point in time. It was the first lockdown of the first 70 days that happened. I think they had only left with bottles of Black Label. So that was the only thing that I could drink. So I have distinct memories from that time.
So 2020.
2020, yes. I'm sure I would have had Black Label in some cocktail before that, but I don't remember having it neat.
I think for me, first, memories of Black Label would be, around 2008, 2009.
Okay.
So I had a cousin in London and we used to play cricket in London.
Okay.
And his thing was, obviously he was older than me. So he said, and we used to play like a lot of cricket when we were in college in Delhi. So, and that's where the whole competitive streak was between the two of them. He was a good batsman.
Okay.
And I was not a bad bowler, but I was
You were a bad bowler, basically.
I was not a very... So the thing between him and me was like, if you get me out, I will buy you a bottle of Black Label.
Oh.
And that time Black Label was for 22 pounds in London.
Wow.
So I think every Saturday, Sunday we'll go to a park where I'll keep bowling at him. Like it will take me good 1 or 2 hours
To get him out.
And I think I've only managed to get 2 Black Labels over a period of 6 months. So you can imagine.
How pathetic a bowler you were.
I was a spinner and in England ball doesn't spin. FYI.
Of course.
So it was difficult to spin the ball in England. But yeah, I had to work very, very hard to earn my Black Label. But again, I'm talking about 2008, 2009. We are in 2025 right now.
Yeah.
I have outgrown both cricket and Black Label now. Black Label I can still have in a cocktail. Cricket, I don't play anymore. I don't watch anymore.
Yeah, given how pathetic you were, you shouldn't play either.
I was very good.
Okay,
Anyways.
so I think we need to begin the tasting of the Black Label.
There is a bit of that sweetness coming through for me.
Yeah.
But that fruits, the sweetness is more of a plum and jaggery sort of a sweetness that I'm getting.
Okay.
Like more brown sugar.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I mean. Caramel, toffee kind of a sweetness. And again that caramel, honey, toffee kind of a sweetness does carry through.
Yeah. I think there is a bit of pepper, some amount of citrus,
Yeah.
and very mild raisin sort of a thing that I'm getting.
Yeah.
But pretty much what you get on the nose sort of follows through. Except for a bit of spiciness that is coming on the palate. And it has a good viscosity. The mouthfeel on this one is quite good.
Yeah, it's quite oily.
Yeah.
I think spiciness on the nose is mellow, but on the palate is quite pronounced.
Yeah.
I think even the peat on the nose is very, very subtle, but on the palate, I think it's slightly stronger. Again, even on the palate, although like compared to other smoky whiskies, it's very, very subtle, very subdued.
Somehow not getting the smokiness enough. What I'm getting is like a very heavy oak.
Okay.
Like I'm getting that woodiness coming through, but smoke is, full disclaimer, I am down with a bit of a cold, so maybe that is what it is. Because again, smoke on this one is slightly, it's not a very heavily smoked whiskey or a peated whiskey, so I'm guessing that's why I'm missing it.
It is mild, it's very mild, it's very subtle, so it's very easy to miss. I think even on the finish, it's fairly long. There is that woodiness or the oakiness that you were talking about. Black pepper, spices. I think a little bit of raisin sweetness, but very, very mellow. But it's got a fairly, I would say, long finish.
Yeah. For a blended Scotch that is not targeted, like that is, let's say, it's an entry-level Scotch.
Yeah.
I think the finish on this one is very long.
Yeah.
It packs a bit of a punch, a bite, and the finish is on the longish side, woody, and bit of again that raisin sort of a sweetness that is coming through for me. But wood again towards the end, it's cinnamon and the oak wood that with hint of pepper I would add it.
Yeah.
So the Johnnie Walker Black Label in India is bottled at 43%, while globally in most countries it is bottled at 40%. So thank you Diageo and Johnnie Walker for treating us Indians very special.
Should we move to the Double Black?
Yep.
Do you know that Double Black was actually supposed to be a limited edition? It was released in 2011 as a travel retail edition, but it became so popular that now it has become a part of the Johnnie Walker core range.
So Swati, while you were mentioning that this whiskey was first launched in 2011, I think it struck my mind that the Double Black is amongst the first couple of whiskies that I bought on duty free. I think 2012 is where I remember buying Double Black, and also why I bought Double Black was every other person was buying Black Label.
So you bought
I didn't want to buy Black Label, and Double Black seemed because also it was a duty free edition, right?
Yeah.
So before that, I had never seen a Double Black. So the fact that everyone was buying Black Label, I didn't want what almost everyone else was buying, and just the novelty because I hadn't seen it in retail before. So
yeah, so like I said, it was only initially supposed to be only a travel retail edition, and then it became so popular that it's part of the core range now.
So what is the difference between the Black Label and the Double Black?
Okay, so like Black Label, Double Black is also a blend of 40 different whiskies.
Okay.
But the difference between the Double Black and the Black Label is it's smokier, one.
Of course. Yeah.
Because the percentage of smoky malt from Kolila is a lot more in the blend.
Okay.
So it makes it smokier.
Okay.
So the whiskies that have gone into the blend of Double Black are matured in heavily charred oak barrels before blending. So that gives a lot more spiciness to the whiskies and that extra smokiness to the whiskies.
Understood. So basically what you're saying is after the blending process and just before bottling, the entire blend is put into a heavily charred barrel, which gives it that additional smokiness and a bit of spicy kick.
That's why it's called the Double Black. So it's bolder, spicier, smokier compared to the Black Label.
Understood. So let's try that.
Yes.
You don't miss the smoke on this one.
Yeah, it's very, very...
So again, it's subtle smoke, but way more pronounced than the... I don't think it's subtle smoke. It's definitely pronounced. Yeah,
it's fairly distinct.
And you mentioned Kolila, so this sort of that hay sort of a smokiness,
the grassiness
is from Kolila, I can associate. Sweeter. But here again, you know what I'm getting on the nose?
The color is quite similar though, on both.
Yeah. But I think what I'm getting on the nose on this one is a bit of cloves.
Okay.
And that, cardamom that not the green one, that
The black cardamom.
badi ilaichi. What is that? Is there a term for
Black cardamom.
it? That's called black.
Yeah,
So I'm getting a bit of that on the nose.
Okay.
But again, the sweetness.
Yeah. But you know what? I don't think it is as fruity sweet compared to the black label.
Yeah.
The black label was a lot sweeter on the nose. There is of course that sweetness from the fruits that you would get, but it's not as sweet.
There is honey. Also what I'm getting a bit of it is like some saltiness coming through.
Okay. I'm
Let's have
definitely
a sip.
getting a lot of that wet grass kind of a note.
Oh, the charring is very evident on the palate.
Yeah.
You definitely, it's like, ash, tar,
Yeah.
those sort of notes are quite there.
Like it warms up your palate.
Yeah. But this is bottled at 40%.
This is bottled at 40%, yes. I think the peat is quite distinct. There are those honey, I would say red apple notes I'm getting on this.
Okay.
The sweetness from that.
Citrus is also there in this one, right?
I am also, again the texture is oily, similar to how on the black label. And yes, cloves, pepper, I'm getting those kind of notes as well. But I think that apart from the peat, that char from the heavily charred barrels or the ash kind of a note, that I think is quite different from the
previous
black
one.
label. Yeah. Again, the finish is long.
But was it longer than the previous one?
I think the black label is longer.
Yeah.
But this one is also on its own. It's, I would say, a medium to long finish.
I wouldn't put it medium to long. For me, I think it is short to long, because what's happening
Short to
is
long.
Sorry, it will be short to medium.
Okay.
Because what is happening here is, for me, you get that initial ash smokiness, and then there is a bit of sweetness, which is, let's say, a bit of raisin or a bit of green apple sort of a thing, and then it just goes flat, boom, it disappears. So I think finish is much shorter, which the shorter finish could also be attributed a bit to the lower ABV, perhaps.
Yeah. And I think the idea was to give a more smoky and spicy burst initially, and then it falls flat. With the black label, I think it kind of builds. Like the finish is a lot spicier.
Okay.
Like on the
black label or double black?
I'm saying usme it falls flat on
In which one?
On the double black.
Okay.
Like it gives you a very spicy, smoky kick when you taste the whiskey.
Okay.
But it falls flat towards the end. On the black label, it's different.
Okay, got it.
It builds up, is what I'm saying. So I think that way the flavor profile is quite different.
Got it. Okay. So, which one would you prefer?
I think I would prefer the black label.
Yeah. Yep. I think for me it will be a good, easy sipper on a. Yeah, I think and also a good penicillin. It will make for a good penicillin.
Okay.
Because of the smokiness, and I remember I enjoy a Talisker in a highball.
Okay.
I think this will also, because again Talisker has that peppery, smoky, gentle peat notes. This one also has that spiciness, that smokiness, which I think for me, which I like in a highball. So I think this would make for a good highball as well.
I think for me, I like the black label because right from the nose to the palate to the finish, it kind of built very strongly.
Okay.
I felt the tasting notes, the little bit of subtle spice, peat lingering on. So I felt like going back to the black label a little more. Yeah.
Got it. So, any pairings that you would suggest for the black label?
Pairings for the black label. Interesting. I think I would.
I think any chakna?
No, not any chakna. I think with the black label, I would do like a mutton shami kebab. Shami kebab, mutton shami kebab.
Okay.
Because it's like very mellow, it melts in your mouth.
Okay.
It's not too intensely spicy, it's not very heavily cooked. So yeah, I think that would go well. I think with the double black, because it's smokier and spicier at the start, I would possibly do like a tandoori.
Okay. Why?
I just feel that tandoori chicken has stronger flavors. That also has a slightly smokier kick to it. So that's why I think it will pair well with the double black.
Okay, interesting.
What about you?
I think for me, I wouldn't put much brains
Right.
when it comes to pairing for the Black Label. But again, because it's a easy, approachable whiskey, very versatile, I would say. So I think pairing for this could be something as simple as chicken wings.
Okay.
You can have it with how do I say, chicken wings ho gaya. You can do makhana.
Okay. Roasted makhana.
Roasted makhana.
Okay.
You can do, I would love to see how this one, I think it will go well with, as you said, a whole host of kebabs with not just mutton seek, but I think I do foresee it working well with a lot of kebabs.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that those would be.
And with the double black?
Oh, double black has to be something like really grilled, charred. So a lot of those tikkas, kebabs, again, anything that is oven or tandoor grilled. I don't mind trying a nice steak with this as well. I think a good steak again would taste really well with, because again it has that pepperiness,
something from the barbecue.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know, while you were saying this, I was also thinking like a good dark chocolate ganache would go well with the Black Label, because it's very, it's sweet. So the sweetness from the whiskey and the bitter dark chocolate.
Okay.
I think that would make for a good pairing.
For the Black Label.
For the Black Label, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Plus, I also think whiskey and dessert is the best pairing. So I think I always tend to think towards sweeter things with whiskey. Yeah.
At this point, please let us know if you have tried the Black Label and the Double Black. What would be your preferred pairings for these two whiskies? Also, one of the key differences between the Johnnie Walker Black Label and the Double Black is, so the Black Label comes with an age statement of 12 years old, which means every whiskey that has gone in blending or making of the Johnnie Walker Black Label has been matured for a minimum of 12 years, while for the Double Black, there is no age statement. And what that means is, it's a Scotch, right? So the minimum aging for every single whiskey in Double Black has to be at least 3 years.
But it could be more also.
Of course, yeah, it could be definite, and it could be more, and it definitely is more, because if it's the same flavor profile as the Johnnie Walker Black Label, only the proportions of Kalila and some other whiskies have been altered. So it wouldn't have altered. They wouldn't have. I mean, I'm sure they would have added some younger whiskies in the Double Black. That's why they have also removed the age statement. And see, also younger whiskies add a bit more of that feisty, spicy punch. So I'm guessing to make it a more robust, bolder flavor profile, the proportion of younger whiskies would have gone higher.
Yeah, that's true.
But for sure, it would have had the older whiskies from the Black Label.
So with that, we come to the end of this video where we've compared the Black Label and the Double Black. Let us know in the comments below if you've tried either of the whiskies and which one do you prefer. And do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more such videos.